Kalani hated it. Oh my god, you guys, you won't believe it. Asuelu finally, for once in the guy's like 25 years of life, surprised Kalani with a surprise romantic getaway vacation, kind of. And when they got there, guess what Kalani said? She absolutely hated it. Here's the deal. You won't believe this. Asuelu wanted to take Kalani out for some romantic time away. Of course, the two kids had to come, and well, kind of weird. So the mom ended up coming too to babysit the two kids. But Kalani and Asuelu, they went away to give sort of their own time. And I guess Kalani thought that they were going to go to Vegas, they were going to go to Hollywood, they were going to go here, they were going to go there. They ended up going to these like log cabin campground. It's definitely not like they were like staying in like, tents or anything. They were nice cabins, pretty, I mean, they were nice. They were not like shacks or anything. And they had their own little space, their own room. Kalani pulls up and she just goes, oh my God, are you kidding me? And she's complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. And I honestly sat in my couch and my heart just fell down to my stomach. I felt so bad for Asuelu. Typically, I can't stand Asuelu, but honestly, he appears to be trying more and more and more. Now, granted, the guy's doing this basically because he just wants to have more, alone time with her, basically. So, a little bit weird, but they are married. That's what married people do, so and that's fine, for them. But yeah, he planned this whole trip. I don't know if he paid for the whole trip for a 90-day fiance, but he planned this whole trip as a getaway. He doesn't have a ton of money, clearly, but it's like he did this whole thing, and they pull in, and Kalani was just like, oh my God. She just brings me back to when I was in a Mormon church, and I was doing this, and she just absolutely hated the camp thing. She hated the log cabins. She thought it was too dirty. She thought, the bunk bed things were too weird and all this crap, and I'm like, oh my God. Bunk beds are cool, Kalani. So she was just mad. She didn't like it, and you could just see Asuelu had this big giddy smile on his face, and it just got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then next thing the guy probably has a whole freaking frown on his face. So she complained and complained and complained because they got to see not their room. They saw her mom and the two kids' room first, but then they went over and they saw, just her and Asuelu's room, and it got a little bit better because you got to give this guy credit. They went over there, they had rose petals everywhere, they had drinks and whatnot for them too. He made it very romantic and sweet, and I just sat there and said, geez, he is honestly trying. We got to give this guy credit. And it's like, so Kalani, she got a little bit happier, but she was still saying, she was just like, I don't want this. She was saying, listen, the location, she was just complaining about the location, the this and that. And it was like, girl, he surprised you. Be grateful. The hopeless romantic in me, honestly, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, hey, a surprise is a surprise. He did something very nice for you, and that should give him some brownie points, and you should start, just saying thank you and just being nicer. And she slowly was warming up to the campground thing, but it was honestly, she was just not feeling it. But either way, they did that. They went in their room. They did Lord knows what for however long. Then all of a sudden, they reappeared and they just talked about it and everything in the bedroom for like the entire episode was them just talking about that and that and that. And I was just sitting here going, isn't this, okay, TLC, the Learning Channel. Why are we talking about Kalani and Asuelu's, stuff? It's like, oh my God. But after that went down, they finally had some one-on-one, real true relationship talk, trying to kind of just, they have horrible communication, and they were talking about what makes them mad. And Asuelu said, listen, I feel like you treat me like an idiot, and you think that I'm dumb. And a lot of people do think Asuelu is dumb. And, I don't know where I stand on that. Asuelu does say a lot of bizarre, strange stuff. I don't want to use the word dumb. He's in a different country. If I was in his country trying to speak his language, I'd probably sound like a babbling idiot. So, I don't want to be too down on the guy. I will say, though, he has used some pretty rude, remember last season, he was using some pretty rude words towards her. So he definitely hasn't been the nicest guy towards her, but, I don't know. I'm just like, whatever. That's his pet peeve. And I feel like Kalani can definitely kind of baby him and act like his mother, and she is kind of older, so I can see both sides. But she just said, when I get mad at you and I try to explain my side, you scream, and then but then he screams because he thinks that she's calling him an idiot. So it's just like he said, she said. They're constantly fighting. They're going to try to kind of work out their differences. I didn't think it was that groundbreaking of a weekend, but honestly, Kalani's acting like, they made all this headway, and I was like, really? But apparently, that's what she thinks. And then we did get to see that Kalani actually is going to finally tell Asuelu that she ended up meeting up with a divorce lawyer, and it looks like he's definitely going to cry a little bit, even though it's not the end of the world, but it's like, it is kind of sad. So, either way, Kalani and Asuelu, that's a scoop for them. We did also get to see Elizabeth and Andre, and How come, okay, like in the last episode, we did not get to see Jovi and Yara at all. Why did that ever happen to Elizabeth and Andre? Like, why do we see them every single week? It's like, why can't we ever have a break with them? But we gotta see them. Okay, they were on the stupid yacht that Chuck chartered, and of course, Becky and Elizabeth, they got into that big fight, which was probably fake. Then Elizabeth said that she hasn't been sleeping good, and she's so sad about her and her sister, because, okay, yeah, whatever, big deal, who cares? It's probably fake. She ended up meeting up at her, I don't even know whose house, it must have been Jen's. Yeah, her sister Jen, and it's also like, how do you have money? But yeah, so she went to her sister Jen's house. They were talking. Becky ended up showing up. They were going to try to kind of hash out their differences. And if you want to know what happened, basically absolutely nothing. They didn't work out their differences. Becky still thinks that, Andre is trying to hide and do this and that. It's, okay. He's not doing anything. Becky is a realtor. Andre is a licensed realtor. However, Andre is just going to be the one doing the manual labor, apparently, in this flip that they're working on, and he's not the one that's going to be selling the house or anything like that. So it's just kind of like, why does Becky hate him then? Because he's not trying to steal her job. He's not trying to do anything that no one in this family wants to do manual labor. So why do you hate him so much? It's just stupid. This whole situation just reminds me of it's almost like this whole podcast family made up this entire storyline just to get back on the show, to get some TV time, get some airtime, and now it's almost like their story just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any freaking sense. Now they're kind of trying to backpedal and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, they met up. Becky and Elizabeth, they weren't really mad, but it was also kind of just like nothing. They didn't make a lot of headway or anything. And then the funniest part was, it was Chuck's idea to do a family reunion, I guess, and go to, I think, Maryland, wherever he's even from. And so that was the idea, that they were going to rent an RV, and that just sounds like an awful idea. And they were going to rent an RV from Florida and go up to Maryland. It's like a 15, 16 hour drive. Sounds awful. And so, I personally wouldn't want to be in a car with anyone, let alone that crazy family, for that long. So that was their plan. That's what they were going to do. Then Elizabeth and Becky got into that huge fight, but now, after they talked about their differences, they're now talking about, because of, Chuck and the dad, and oh my God, and they feel so bad for our dad. Now they're actually probably going to be going on this trip together in an RV, and we did get to see they do that, but it's actually we literally saw, Andre was driving, they immediately got into a fight. I didn't see Charlie though, but everyone else was there, Becky and everyone, Jen and Chuck and everyone, and of course Becky, she opens her loud mouth, they get into a huge fight, and then Andre pulls the not a semi, but he pulls the RV over. So once again, it's just like, dude, really, why are you guys even together? If you hate each other this much, why are you guys together? It's like, come on, just Becky and Andre, you can see him on Christmas, you can see him on holidays, but just don't hang out. It's so freaking stupid. So that happened. And last but not least, we got to see Angela, not Michael. Maybe a little bit of Michael, but yeah, we saw Angela. Basically, her doctor said you have to quit smoking. Shocker. Now, here's the funny thing. Did she quit? No, she never did. But the doctor said you have to quit immediately. So she went to a hypnotist, or I'm so bad at pronouncing stuff. Something. You know the word I'm trying to say? Yeah, I can't pronounce that word. So they went there, and the guy had her put on headphones. He was talking to her all weird and creepy and whatnot, and then she left there saying, oh my God, I'm done, but we got to see her last week in LA, and what do you guys think she was doing? Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, not stopping. And she was eating cake, which apparently after you get her procedure, eating sugary foods, I guess, is not good for you. Eating cake for anyone, whether you had the procedure or not, is not very healthy. So yes, Angela, she's right back in her good old routine, and more than likely will probably have something happen to her, because you can't do things like that after you have this procedure. Apparently it's very risky, it's very serious, so it's like if you're going back to your old ways, probably ain't gonna end well. But y'all, 90 Day Fiance, whew, wow, a lot of drama going on. Actually, it's a pretty good episode, I'm not gonna lie. It was actually a pretty, it's kind of a good episode. So y'all, 90 Day Fiance, comment below what y'all think. A lot of drama, a lot of crazy crap going on. I want to hear what y'all think about Kalani and Asuelu, and if Kalani was being entitled and rude, or if Kalani had a point and I think she was being rude, but that was just my 2 cents. Well, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like button. Y'all better stay tuned for many more videos.